Assalamualaikum, Madam.
Waalaikumsalam, Prof. Alhamdulillah. How are you?
Alhamdulillah. I think Dato is already in, kan?
I'm not that sure. She seems to be. Ada. Dia tak online lagi. We have about, it's 10 o'clock already. So, admin, should we start?
Assalamualaikum, Dato.
Salam, Prof.
Okay. Thank you very much for agreeing to do this. Thank you very much.
Boleh, no problem. Tak pernah lagi buat anything together with IIUM.
Okay. InsyaAllah. Thank you very much.
Kita nak start pukul berapa, Prof? Is it live already?
Yes, in live. We have a moderator.
Yeah.
Brother Adam, please.
Moderator kita, Mr. Adam Teo.
Yeah.
Sebab the screen tu saya sebelah kiri on my left. Yang nampak. Okay.
Okay, should we?
Okay.
Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Salam.
Thank you to Yang Berbahagia Dato Dr. Haji Megat Sany Megat Ahmad Supian, Deputy Secretary General Policy, Ministry of Higher Education Malaysia, OHI, Yang Berusaha Dr. Professor Dr. Ahmad Ismail, Deputy Director Academic and Internationalization, International Islamic University Malaysia, Vice Chancellors and Deputy Vice Chancellors of Public Universities, IIUM University Management Committee, Executive Directors and Registrars, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters. Welcome to the Leadership Talk Series number 4, 2022. I'm Adam Teo as a moderator from International Islamic University Malaysia. With the topic of championing gender equality in Malaysian higher education. So before you commence the session, let us together kitab Al-Fatiha. Amin amin ya rabbal alamin. Thank you very much, YBhg Dato, for being with us this morning, for the opportunity, having what you call the sharing moment with you, Dato, from 10 o'clock. Inshallah, we'll end 11:30. Right, thanks for the time. And then before we proceed with all what we can mention, share here the experience-wise of Dato, who has been working, serving the government since 21st March 1994, since I'm still in the primary school. Yeah, right. So let us spare our time a bit for the welcoming remarks from Yang Berusaha Professor Dr. Ahmad Ismail, our Deputy Director, Academic and Internationalization, IUM. Please welcome, Prof.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. La hawla wa la quwata illa billahil aliyyil azim. I guess on behalf of IIUM, International Islamic University Malaysia, I would like to welcome Yang Berbahagia Dato Dr. Haji Megat Sany Megat Ahmad Supian, the Deputy Secretary General in charge of policy at our Ministry of Higher Education Malaysia, of course respected Vice Chancellors and Deputy Vice Chancellors of other universities, my colleagues, IIUM University Management Committee, Executive Directors and Registrars, academic staff, as well as students of the universities, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters. I guess first of all, on behalf of the university, we really would like to thank Yang Berbahagia Dato Haji Megat Sany Megat Haji Ahmad Supian for his willingness to be with us this morning and to be the speaker for our Leadership Talk Series number 4, 2022. Thank you very much, Dato. So I hope that we will have more sessions with you later on, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Yeah. I will also take this opportunity to, of course, congratulate the Management Services Division of IIUM, as well as the Persatuan staff that are the co-organizer of this Leadership Talk Series sessions. And of course, we look forward to listen to Yang Berbahagia Datuk on the topic. And I'm very sure that with his vast experience, we will learn a lot from his presentation. In this, I would like to take this opportunity, to link our session today with what we call the Sejahtera academic framework that we have at IIUM, Dato. I think our Sejahtera academic framework was launched by Yang Berhormat Menteri, Minister of Higher Education, about 2 years ago. So I guess one of the important guiding principles that I think we can learn concerning leadership are the 4 guiding principles of the Sejahtera academic framework, which are empowerment, flexibility, innovation, and accountability. And I'm very sure these 4 elements are very much important, and I'm very sure Yang Berbahagia Datuk also, I think, have a lot of experience and sharing. Datuk can share about all these 4 elements. We're talking about how can we create an ecosystem of leaderships that are empowered, meaning to say that all leaders are very clear about their vision and mission, what they want to do, and then they take responsibility very seriously with full integrity. That's why we have another element called accountability. Leadership with accountability, empowerment, accountability. But also we would like to allow flexibility, because we believe that especially when we are leaders at especially universities, there are a lot of issues and matters that we need to solve. And here is where I think the flexibility and the innovation come in. We would like to have our leaders who have, always good ideas, good, I would say that methods as part of their quality improvement. I guess being a leader, we have to take care of so many things. We have to take care of not only external stakeholders, but also we also have internal stakeholders. So as such, I guess this session this morning is very, very important to equip our leaders, the leaders of the universities especially, with a clear understanding. And with Dato with us today, then inshallah, I think we also will get the views from the Ministry of Higher Education. How can we look at this issue of championing gender equality in Malaysian higher education? So I guess we need to have a leader that are proactive, leaders that are very clear on their vision and mission, and that have full commitment. And of course, as I think we learned, many of these things are more experiential learning. Meaning to say that we learn while we are executing our job. Many of the things that in leadership are not as straightforward as in the textbook. I think that is what we would like to learn from Yang Berbahagia Dato, the wisdom, his experience, and maybe his advice to all of us to become a better leader for the future, and also to collaborate with the ministry. So with that, Yang Berbahagia Dato, we hope that we will work closer, and inshallah, I think we will collaborate and cooperate together for the betterment of the higher education in our country, inshallah. So thank you very much again. Really, I mean, we really appreciate the presence of YBhg Dato with us this morning. So thank you very much. Wabillahi taufiq wa hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, Berbahagia Professor Dr. Ahmad Ismail, for the welcoming remarks from IUN, representing Yang Berbahagia Rector. Okay, okay, before we commence, proceed further, okay, just to update all members, ladies and gentlemen, that we will be having the Q&A session before we adjourn. All right, and then what interest much on us is no textbook, we call it as a reference in this session. And when they say we, on what we call it, well, I have the information regarding the Yang Berbahagia Dato, having the PhD in Strategy, Program and Project Management at the Schema Business School in France in January 2015. That is the latest update that we have. And then just to highlight to the members that our topic would be Leadership Talk Series for 2022, jointly organized by the Management Services Division, MSD IUM, and IIUM Professional Management Association, PMA IUM. With that, please welcome Yang Berbahagia Dato Dr. Haji Megat Sany, Megat Ahmad Supian, Deputy Secretary General Policy, Ministry of Higher Education. Please welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator, Mr. Adam Teo. Yang Berhormat Professor Dr. Ahmad Faris Ismail, Deputy Rector Academic and Internationalization, IIUM, Vice Chancellors, Deputy Vice Chancellors of Public Universities, IIUM University Management Committee, Executive Directors and Registrars, ladies and gentlemen. Firstly, I would like to thank for inviting me to partake in the International Islamic University of Malaysia IIUM Leadership Talk Series for 2022. A hearty congratulations to the joints of organizers, Management Services Division, and IIUM Professional Management Association for successfully hosting this event today. Thank you very much, Professor Ahmad Faris, for welcoming me just now, and I hope we can have more activities together, and hopefully with this cordial relationship, we can enhance more activities that can be promoted between all our institutions. I understand that the session today is part of the Leadership Talk series with different topics and speakers in conjunction with the 40th celebration of IIUM in 2023. And the participants today are the future leaders of IIUM. So congratulations to all of you for being here today, and I hope that the session will be beneficial to you. Yang Berbahagia Dato-Dato, Professor, Doctor, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to start with the basics. According to the National Education Philosophy, education in Malaysia is an ongoing effort towards further developing the potential of individuals in a holistic and integrated manner, so as to produce individuals who are intellectually, spiritually, emotionally, and physically balanced and harmonious, based on a firm belief in and devotion to God. Such an effort is designed to produce Malaysian citizens who are knowledgeable and competent, who possess high moral standards, and who are responsible and capable of achieving high level of personal well-being, as well as being able to contribute to the harmony and betterment of the family, the society, and the nation at large. In the higher education landscape in Malaysia, altogether we have 596 institutions under the purview of Ministry of Higher Education, comprises of 20 public universities, 36 polytechnics, 105 community colleges, and 434 private higher education institutions. There are about 1.2 million students enrollment every year in our institutions, with the capacity of 70,319 academic staff cut across all the institutions. Every year, we have about 330,000 students graduating from our institutions. As of 31st December 2021, we have 131,255 international students registered. MOHE has the aspiration to become a global education hub with a target of 250,000 international students by 2025. In terms of a guiding principle, the Malaysia Education Blueprint, or MEB, 2015-2025 for higher education outlines the strategies, policies, and guidelines that higher education institutions must follow in order to transform the higher education system and increase the basis of the knowledge economy. The blueprint is built on 5 system aspirations, namely access, quality, equity, unity, and efficiency, and 6 student aspirations, namely ethics and spirituality, leadership skills, national identity, language proficiency, thinking skills, and knowledge. Gender equality is very much related to the access and equity aspiration. To achieve these aspirations, the blueprint outlines 10 shifts that will spur continued excellence in the higher education system. All 10 shifts address key performance issues in the system, particularly with regard to quality and efficiency, as well as global trends that are disrupting the higher education landscape. The first 4 shifts focus on outcomes for the key stakeholders in the higher education system, including students in academic and TVET pathways, the academic community, as well as all Malaysians participating in lifelong learning. The other 6 shifts focus on enablers for the higher education ecosystem, covering critical components such as funding, governance, innovation, internalization, online learning, and delivery. We are currently at the last wave of the blueprint. We have made significant progress in fulfilling the ministry's core aspirations for higher education, most notably in broadening access and expanding overall system and institutional quality. Access to higher education has increased substantially, shown in the increase in total higher education enrollment. Research output and quality has expanded rapidly, executed through the increase in number of research articles published by Malaysian universities, number of citations, number of patents, and revenues generated from research universities as solution provider to industries, agencies, and NGOs. In terms of global rankings, 24 Malaysian institutions of higher learnings were listed in the rankings this year in the 19th edition of QS World University Rankings 2023 report released on 9th June 2022. 10 universities managed to maintain stability every year. 9 universities have successfully improved their position. 3 universities have recorded a decline slightly, and 2 universities are new entries, namely University Pendidikan Sultan Idris or OPSI and University Tun Hussein On Malaysia or UTHM. The QS World University Ranking 2023 report shows that 12 out of 24 universities have successfully improved their academic reputation scores based on a survey of 151,000 academics. 12 out of 24 universities have improved their employer reputation scores based on survey of 99,000 employers and hiring managers. University Malaya managed to maintain its position in the top 100 universities in the world by being ranked 70th, despite falling 5 places compared to 2024, which is at the 65 on the list of the rank. Public universities and other private universities also showed a very proud increase by maintaining the position of the top 300 universities in the world. University Putra Malaysia rose to be in the group of 123 in 2023 compared to 143 in 2002. University Kebangsaan Malaysia rose to 129 in 2023 compared to 144 in 2022. While Taylor's University is ranked 284 in 2023 compared to 332 in 2022. So based on the ranking, MOHE is crafting strategies to place another university in the top 100 universities in the world by 2025. Nonetheless, the ministry recognized that the system will need to keep evolving to stay abreast with, if not ahead of, global trends. For example, disruptive technologies such as advanced robotics, the Internet of Things, and the automation of knowledge work are expected to dramatically reshape the business and social landscape from what it is today. Preparing Malaysian youth to thrive in this complex and ever-changing future will require an equal fundamental transformation of how the higher education system and higher education institution currently operates. Ladies and gentlemen, members of the floor, back to our topic today. So what is actually gender equality? According to United Nations International Children's Emergency Fund or UNICEF, gender equality means that women, men, girls and boys must enjoy equal rights, resources, opportunities, and protections. According to United Nations Entity for Gender Equality and the Empowerment of Women, gender equality refers to the equal rights, responsibilities, and opportunities of women and men and girls and boys. Equality does not mean that women and men will become the same, but the women's and men's rights, responsibilities, and opportunities will not depend on whether they are born male or female. Gender equality implies that the interests, needs, and priorities of both women and men are taken into consideration, recognizing the diversity of different groups of women and men. Gender equality is not a women's issue, but should concern and fully engage men as well as women. So we cannot use gender equality and feminism simultaneously. Gender equality is not feminism, but about both men and women. Remember Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard case recently. Professor, do you know about Johnny Depp? I hope.
Yes, yes.
Okay, it's very famous now in the news. So domestic violence is not exclusive only to women. It can also happen to men. Thus, equality between women and men is seen both as a human rights issue and as a precondition for an indicator of sustainable people-centered development. This is parallel with Goal 5 of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, which aims to achieve gender equality and empower all women and girls. Gender equality by 2030 requires urgent action to eliminate the many root causes of discrimination that still curtail women's rights in private and public spheres. For example, discriminatory law need to change and the legislation adopted to proactively advance equality. The top 5 targets of SDG 5 are to 1. End all forms of discrimination against all women and girls everywhere. 2. Eliminate all forms of violence against all women and girls in the public and private sphere, including trafficking and sexual and other types of exploitation. Eliminating all harmful practices such as child, early and forced marriage, and female genital mutilation. 4th, recognize and value unpaid care and domestic work through the provision of public services, infrastructure, and social protection process, and the promotion of shared responsibility between the household and the family as nationally appropriate. And 5, ensure women's full and active participation and equal opportunities for leadership at all levels of decision making in politics, economic, and also public life. All these definitions and concepts are from the Westerners' points of view. What about Islamic point of view? I think many of the audience present today are in a better position to address on this. However, I would like to highlight on how Islam appreciates the role that women play in society and family. The sign of this importance can be spotted in the 4th surah of the Holy Quran, Surah An-Nisa, as it has been dedicated to women. Nisa in Arabic is women. This surah is named so because it mainly discusses issues and laws regarding women, marriage, inheritance, and rights of women. In a nutshell, Islam confers on women all the political and social rights which men enjoys, entitled to all the privileges bestowed upon men. In the spiritual sense, women are also equal to men, as mentioned in Surah Al-Ahzab, verses 36. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. It is not for a believing man or women when Allah and His Messenger decree a matter to have an other choice in that manner. Indeed, however, disobeys Allah and His Messenger has clearly gone for astray. This verse makes clear that Muslim women stand on the same level with Muslim men, and that they can attain to all those spiritual heights to which men can attain. At several places in the Quran, believing men and believing women are addressed in the same language and are made equal and are made equally subject to the same commandments and entitled to the same rights and privileges. Only their duties are different because their spheres of activity are different. In Islam, equality is based in the reality of the differences and mature dependencies of real men and women. In gender relations, it is not in absolute equality. The two genders need to be treated differently in at least some life activities. Take sports for instance. If absolute equality was the goal in the sports, we would be having tournaments with men and women playing together or against each other. But this is not the case at all, as sex verification tests take place to ensure there is no inequality by having a man pretending to be a woman playing in a given sport. Here, equality would be defined as women playing against women for a level playing field. Had equality been absolute, such tests would not have existed. Their existence shows that all of us are agreed that nature has given different tendencies, aptitudes, strengths, and personalities to men and women. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow audience, the Global Gender Gap Report 2021, released by the World Economic Forum, shows Malaysia ranked 70th out of 156 countries in terms of women's participation in the education sector. However, we were still behind New Zealand, Philippines, Australia, and Singapore. This is followed by the health and survival sector in the 74th place. The economic sector, on the other hand, ranked 104, and the lowest is in politics, which is ranked at the 128th position. According to Department of Statistics Malaysia, DOSM, Malaysia's population for the third quarter of 2021 was estimated at 32.67 million. The male population outnumbered the female with 16.8 million and 15.9 million respectively. Female population representing 48.66% out of the total population. The statistics on women empowerment in selected domains, Malaysia 2021 report shows that the overall gender equality improved to 71.4% in 2020. This report presented by DOSM relating to gender in Malaysia for the year 2018 to 2020, focusing on the core set of gender indicators covering 11 main domains. In the report, Malaysia Gender Gap Index identifies the gap between women and men across 4 sub-indicators encompassing economic participation and opportunity, education attainment, health and survival, and political empowerment. A score with a value of 1, which is 100%, indicates the equality of women and men has been achieved. Achievement of women has surpassed men in the educational attainment sub-index with a score of 1.059. Health and survival sub-index recorded a score of 0.956, followed by economic participation and opportunity scored at 0.738. Labor force participation rate for women was still low at 55.3% in 2020 as compared to other Southeast Asia countries such as Singapore, which is 69.7%, and Thailand, 66.8%. Generally, women's labor force participation rate for developed nation exceed 60%. Political empowerment recorded the lowest at 10%, score at 0.1. That shows women were still lagging behind men in the ministerial posts and parliament. Fellow audience, so we have seen how Malaysia performs in terms of gender equality against the international ranking. I would like to pose to you a question. In comparison to other countries, how do you see gender equality in Malaysia? Do you think that gender equality is an issue here? Or in particular, do you think we have an issue on gender equality in Malaysian higher education? If you think we have a problem, maybe we can discuss. In the QA session after this. So I would like to hear from you what are the issues and instances where we find gender inequality exists in our higher education landscape. Currently, intakes are based on merit to ensure equality, giving every student the opportunity to fulfill his or her potential regardless of location, race, gender, or social economic background. Let me share with you on some statistics. Out of 334,065 applications received for intake for academic session 2021-2022, 191,756 or 59.17% are female candidates. 114,850 or 59.9% has successfully secured an offer for higher education institution. Success rate for female candidates is at 61.34% compared to 59.33% for female candidates. So based on the analysis of a 5-year input, enrollment and output data, it shows diversity in trend. Input data shows a slight increase in 2021 from 2020, while enrollment data shows substantial decrease in 2021 compared to 2020. As for output data, the number has increased significantly for female graduates from 64,592 to 81,888 in 2021. Every year, the average percentage of students in STEM courses is more than 48%. Let me share with you another story. In 2018, Tokyo Medical University marked down the test scores of young women applying to embark on a career medicine to ensure more men became doctors. The university had apparently systematically kept the ratio of female students to around a third. The reason given that the authorities were concerned with their ability to want to continue working after starting a family. Such examples reveal the sustained and hidden institutional sexism in education that both serve to exclude young women from reaching their full potential and eventually affects their future earning potential. It also reflects how continuing societal assumptions based on stereotype and biologically essentialist notions of gender still have purchased across the world. With regards to this kind of gender biasness issues in university in Malaysia, so far, we have not received any complaints from neither students nor lecturers. However, if such things happen, MOHE will not tolerate such biasness. Stern actions will be taken against the culprit. Another angle is on women's leadership. Women currently hold 25% of the position of the board members of the 100 major public companies. However, there are about 250 listed companies on Bursa Malaysia that do not yet have a women or female composition of directors. The Security Commission has mandated the appointment of at least one female director of all public listed companies. This demonstrates the government's commitment in increasing women's participation in economic and business management. The implementation of this policy will take effect on 1st September 2022 for large cap companies and 1st June 2023 for other listed companies. What about women holding leadership position in our public universities? For senior leadership positions such as Vice Chancellor and Deputy Vice Chancellor, we have a committee to identify and propose potential candidates. Currently, out of 20 public universities in Malaysia, 2 are led by women, namely Yang Bahagia Dato Professor Technologist Dr. Haji Roziah Muhammad Jano from University Technology Mara or UiTM, and Yang Berusaha Professor Technologist Dr. Masila Kamarudin from University Technical Malaysia Malacca or UTM. Interestingly, the letter is here the letter in her early 40s is one of the youngest VC appointed so far. And to state out the fact, out of 87 senior leadership positions in public universities, namely 20 vice chancellors and 67 deputy vice chancellor, 14 positions are held by women, representing 16.09%. In Mohe itself, we have several high-ranked positions filled by lady incumbents. For example, Technologist Puan Zainab Ahmad, Director General of Polytechnic and Community College Education Department. Her deputy, DG for Planning, is also currently a lady. So is the Deputy Director General of Higher Education, Academic and Development, currently held by Yang Berusaha Professor Engineer Dr. Robiah binti Yunus. 7 out of 13 Undersecretaries or Head of Units are women here in KPT. And this is to show how women have a very significant role and involves greatly in decision-making in the higher education sector. So, ladies and gentlemen, currently universities are facing greater challenges as they need to continually produce excellent graduates, conduct high-end research, and provide services to communities and industries. University leaders need greater capabilities to keep universities relevant and at the forefront of their missions. According to the Orange Playbook, strengthening academic career pathways and leadership development, future leaders at higher learning institutions need to equip themselves with proper skill sets, including strategic positioning, foresight analysis, dealing with policy shifts, influencing policies, risk management, as well as financial management. Currently, there are 4 vacant posts for Deputy Vice Chancellors in our public universities. These posts are open to all who are qualified. As long as the candidate possess the relevant skill sets, there will be no hurdle for them to climb up the senior leadership positions in the universities, regardless of their gender. Policy-wise, we do not have a specific programs to highlight on gender equality, as we emphasize meritocracy and enhanced performance for talent development. However, under Akademi Kepimpinan Pengajian Tinggi or AKEP, there are specific programs targeted for women, specifically in training and professional development program, and to nurture leadership values, competencies among the talents. An instance is the AKEP Global Series, which focuses on women leadership in international higher education. So, ladies and gentlemen, respective audience, recognizing the significant role of women, MOHE is committed in achieving gender equality and promoting the rights of women and girls. We will support the government's continuous efforts and commitments toward achieving gender equality, which are also in line with the Sustainable Development Goals and 12 Malaysia Plan. We are also open to any ideas and suggestions to improve on the current setting of the higher education landscape. Let me end my speech today with a quote from John Quincy Adams, an American statesman and the 6th President of the United States. If your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, you are a leader. Once again, my deepest gratitude to all involved and present in today's leadership talk. May all of you have benefited from my talk for this session. Thank you very much. I hand over back to you, Mr. Adam.
Thank you, YBhg Dato. Okay, it's now 10:53 a.m. in the morning. We hope hopefully everybody still have the strength. Having the energy and then to energize our motivation, focusing on the championing the gender equality in Malaysian higher education. What interests us much on the issues in the slides also highlighted by YBhg Dato. She already opened up the session on one very important question, that do you think we have issues on gender equality in higher education? Meaning to say, we'll open up the session to the audience, and so for the admin wise, and can assist us on the whoever that can highlight, because in our chat box I'm yet to receive any question from the audience. So mostly we can go straightforward live from the Zoom link. Yeah, is it possible? So I may open up the session to the floor, please. We have 72 participants, but not in also in the YouTube. We also have the audience from the YouTube.
Okay, Dato, then maybe I can just start the ball rolling while waiting for others. Thank you very much, Yang Bahagia Dato, for a very, I would say that, informative as well as very assuring statement by the ministry. I mean, talking about championing the gender equality in Malaysian higher education. I guess, I mean, we observe that in terms of student intake, I guess we have more female students even at IUM. You know, I think some faculty, we have about 60% female students, and maybe more balance in like your data show in terms of science and technology as well. Maybe engineering, maybe there's a little bit more balance, but still it's 50-50. But like in social sciences, definitely it's more female. And we observe also that women need to work a little bit more on the leadership segment. Another data that maybe interested to see, I don't know whether, I'm sure ministry has the data. For example, in terms of number of professors, maybe I think we can have the data in terms of number of not only the vice chancellor, deputy vice chancellor, but also the, let's say, professors or associate professor among male and female in various field of study. I think that will be another interesting data, Dato. What do you think? Thank you.
Yeah, I think you put it rightly in terms of we can include the numbers of professors, male and female. So it's very interesting if we can discuss furthermore, because eventually, because since we have a policy in the decision-making policy to have at least 30% from the women to be leaders. So that's why we did not include those professors as one of our statistics. So, but we can actually later to include this, so to discuss whether is there, I mean, in terms of percentage, where do they position among the post-gender? So I think basically, as I already mentioned in my presentation, it is not an issue here in higher education. But if there is a demand to include such programs in order to increase the participation of the women in the whole area, then if there is no such specific programs that already been created, then we can actually suggest whatever that we can determine to increase these numbers. So I think Professor in IUM itself, I think can also be a role in this area, since as we already talked just now, that if we can actually in line with the surah in the Al-Quran itself that already mentioned, on how actually we can make such balance in this participation of women in this sector.
Thank you very much, Dato. So, any more questions from the participants? We still have about half an hour for the session. So, I'm waiting in the chat box. Any more question from the ladies? Because what we can see here in the slides, what we can a bit summarize and conclude that at present, say nowadays, people, when we say about gender equality, the focus is more towards the women and men. But when we compare to the statistics on the enrollment in the university, so women superseded the men. And also what most probably I can highlight the position wise of the the directorship, deanship, and the leaders in IUM. You can see here. I have the data from the colleagues that you can say that in IUM itself, more on the deanship and directorship, we have about 30% position hold by female. So, but in here, it's not fair for us to compare the gender equality in our own institution. So, mostly any ladies, female from our audience, because now in YouTube we can see here there's no question. Okay, we have one. Right, so we might we are not going to disclose the identity. Okay, YBhg Dato. Okay, we have one question. How does gender affect inequality in education, and what are the causes of the gender inequality? Please, Dato.
Okay. For the first question, how does gender affect inequality in education? If we see in Malaysia landscape itself, I think there is we don't practice such thing in terms of inequality in education, because education in Malaysia itself is free for all, and everybody can access to get themselves to be educated. And I think maybe in some countries, this could be an issue. But here in Malaysia, there is no such thing, because if there is such things occur, I think it'll be a havoc in Malaysia, especially in politics. So I think this doesn't arise here in Malaysia. But if there is a rise, then maybe it is due to certain individuals who could be in their jurisdiction tends to have some beliefs to have certain agendas. So it could happen, but I cannot put that as an issue here in Malaysia, because there's no such reports in this regard. So, but I think there is namely everybody is getting the same thing for regardless of the gender. And what causes of the gender equality, as I mentioned just now, it could be from the individual itself, or maybe could be the lecturers or the teachers that have certain beliefs that male should be more superior than the female, that they have their own intention of putting such agendas in their teaching. So maybe, but it's very could be not so the case in Malaysia. Maybe there is another question.
Okay, Dato, thank you very much for the very detailed answers. Another question from the participants from Najwa Kamarun. Okay, Assalamualaikum, YBhg Dato. Okay, what are your opinion on the gender equality versus gender equity debate? Do you believe that we should boost women opportunities, or Should women and men have equal rights? Yes, welcome.
Okay. Thank you very much for Ms. Najwa Kamarun for the question. Waalaikumsalam. In my opinion, I think if the gender equality versus gender equity debate. So as for me, I think if you want to discuss this matter, there's endless. If I can put that, if we want to debate in this matter, there is no proper solution. The only thing that matters is what are the things that we should do to put it in place. So we can debate in so many things, and we can list so many things, the issues pertaining to this. But if we go forward, we should think more positive on how that we can achieve the equality as so-called in terms of numbers that everybody would like to debate on. So since we already have in place 30% participation of leaders for women in Malaysia, so everybody is trying to achieve that number. But as for me, I think we should be more natural in this matter, because rather than we try to compete ourselves, we should put in place to equip our leaders, as mentioned by Professor Faris just now, the qualities of the leaders. Anybody can be a leader as long as they have all the qualities. That's why in Mohe, we have a committee to make sure whoever who wants to become a vice chancellor, they should meet the certain criteria. So that criteria is already a universal kind of criteria that have been crafted by Mohe using the international standards. So for me, I think what we try to do here is how to increase more leaders, or to train more leaders from the women, especially in order to make sure we have the numbers and the qualities as to make them hold the highest position in the university itself. So for me, I think I certainly believe that women should participate more, because naturally women sometimes they shy away to become a leaders, because they know that it will come with greater responsibility. So with that responsibility, sometimes they have to sacrifice a lot, their time, their quality time, and this sometimes they have some conflicts with their family itself. So that's why maybe if we can have more women who would like to sacrifice more for the betterment of the nation, so we are most welcome. And as I mentioned just now, we have AKIP to come up with good programs in order to select more leaders from the women. I think that's my opinion.
Thank you, Dato. Okay, Dato, bagi Dato highlighting the significance of AKAP, which we can giving the opportunity for the women, okay, to boost your talent and skill. Okay, we have another question. We still have time from hold on for a while. From Sharifah Nora. Okay. The question would be, thank you for the enlightening information. Do you think mentoring plays an important role in academic career path? If so, the number of women in higher position would play an important role as mentors for others too. Okay, we have another one. So, yeah, we have another one. So we proceed with that one, the first one.
Thank you, Pan Sharifah Nora. Yeah, you put it, I mean, it hits actually. What you point out, this is one of the characteristic for leadership. So mentoring is part of leadership program that we can create in universities. Because so far, I haven't heard yet any such programs pertaining to mentoring. Maybe this is something new to the universities, but it is not in the case of the management in other institutions, or namely in companies. So I think mentoring is something that we can explore actually, in order to see and how the potential that we can actually attain from the people who have potential. Maybe through Vice Chancellor, they could spot those people that are maybe can be groomed as leaders for the future of the universities. So maybe this thing we can propose to discuss further and on how to have such programs together with the universities. And for the second question, how to ensure women academics stay in university or in workforce with family-friendly facilities. This is very interesting because come after the pandemic, I think now there is already a chance for us to have a session, lecturing session via, we call it a video conferencing. So by using the smartphone or whatever means. But to say it is family friendly, this is something which is actually new to not only for the university but also for all sectors. We have to see in the future on how to deal with these methods of teaching and also facilities, because I think in most of European countries, they already implemented this thing far before in Malaysia. As like for my instance, but when I was studying in France, most of my lecturers does not come from the same university. They came from all over university from Europe. So as long as they have that expertise in such programs, they can be invited to teach us as they are the experts in that area. So I think, but this is a bit not the case in Malaysia, because most of the lecturers is based in the same university. So not, I mean, maybe there is, but not as a formal kind of what can I say, arrangement between universities in Malaysia to teach their subject for another university. So this is also among areas that maybe we can explore also. So to call a new way kind of method of not only to to be a citizen of one university, but also can be shared among universities. So, and this also we can promote to the women's academics, and also maybe for the workforce. I think most women they tend to choose this to become a lecturer as a career, as the same as a teachers. So from my point of view, I think there's not an issue to not to have the women. As you can see, also the trend in terms of intakes to universities also, there's slightly an increase. Then maybe later it'll be more than the men in this sector. So that's in the academicians. So personally, I think this is going to be a new setting for the future.
Okay, thank you, Dato. We have yet to overrun. Okay, we have an ongoing question from the ladies. Okay, one more from the Zana. All right, salam and a very good day, Dato. Is there any data to compare the rate of escalation in career in academics within women and different challenges? Example with small kids versus with independent age kids. Is there any way that the ministry or institution can help in assisting this group of women?
Waalaikumsalam. Thank you very much for the question. So far, we don't have such data, but if we could get those data from our universities, I think we can actually try to work out on how to address this issue. So, but personally, I think as you mentioned in your question, the example with small kids and with independent age kids, this is something we have to deal with, because this is not only the issues in the university, but it's an issues for all. But this is yeah, for future. I think there is something that we can try to come up with more accommodative kind of assistance to make sure this segment to be helped with, to be dealt with, because we know that having a child, there's always things that you have to make sure that they are in good health, and so-called the mother itself, they are trying to be more responsible of their kids. So that's why maybe issues like this, maybe we can have a further discussion with the universities on how to deal with such an issues. Yeah.
All right. Okay, I think okay, the question from the anonymous attendees just now, right? Okay, it's 11:18. So according to the our schedule, yeah, we have to overrun the session.
Maybe I want to respond what Professor Faris mentioned in the earlier remarks regarding the leadership. I think, as you rightly point out just now, the elements that under the leadership, we need more people who have the visionary, creative, innovative people that maybe during their studies they did not instill those elements. So maybe because there is no such programs that actually we can groom them towards that. And they are quite compact with other jobs that maybe sometimes hindered them from trying to acquire the knowledge of those elements. So that's why maybe we can in the future to discuss further about this matter, because if we don't deal or address this issue, we are afraid that we'll be having less and less people who have that quality of leader in order to manage the universities. So what do you think, Professor?
Yeah, Dato, I think that's why I started by saying that at our university we have this Jatra academic framework, and then in this Jatra academic framework, we are talking about bringing back the soul to the university. Exactly what you mentioned. I mean, because otherwise, I mean, our students are just very busy with their technical, studying textbook material. But how can we really bring back the humanistic values to the curriculum? I think that is what we are trying to do at IUM, meaning to say that they are not only competent in their body of knowledge, but at the same time, I think they should also have these different leadership skills. As a matter of fact, Dato, let me share with you that one of our achievement is now we just revised our what we call university required courses. And now one of the element is we are requiring our students to go to the community. So this is more like experiential learning. Beginning from their second semester, third semester, they already go to the community. And here is where I guess they are looking at real problems, issues facing the community. And now they are future leaders, students at the university, based on their knowledge, how can they address that issue? So I think that is one of the components that we are emphasizing. And I like your comment, your experience in France. So that's why we have this under our academic framework, the flexibility, where we would like to allow our students to get, like you mentioned, like transfer of credit from wherever the experts are. So I think but I do concur with you that we have not done this aggressively and in a very well-structured manner. It's more like ad hoc, based on maybe a request by the student, but maybe in the future, we would like to encourage our program owners, especially the head of departments, to maybe identify that, wow, there is an expert in, let's say, artificial intelligence from this, wherever, not only in Malaysia, it can be all over the world. And we can say that, okay, our student can take credit, maybe now online, and then that will be part of our curriculum. I think this is what we talk about, the flexibility, where the students now can also look at what they are interested and passionate, and through various different elective courses, then they can also venture into some other topics and areas that are not there in the curriculum. So I guess this is what we are trying to venture into, and we hope that with this, then we will provide more values to our students, added values. So thank you very much. And of course, we need your advice also, Dato, on this. Thank you.
Yeah, when talking about the flexibility, I think students is part of it. Lecturers is also should be included, because I think flexibility will actually enhance the capacity and capability of the lecturer itself. So indirectly, you actually can instill the leadership quality there. But to have more specific programs, we need to have a more formal kind of arrangement, which one of it is by having through the ACAD, but also if there is a good MOUs with other universities, and either domestically or internationally, then I think it will be more sufficient for us to make sure for the future of our universities, it will be more leaders can be created. I think this is also in line of what the Minister of Higher Education, Dato Yang Muhammad Dato Sri Dr. Naraini, suggested during her visit to US recently. So she wanted that there is a cross exchange among the university's experts, so that we can exchange the lecturers and also the students to Malaysia in order for us to be increased in terms of our capacity and also capability in terms of research. And by this means, we can try to be achieve more, better in terms of our world university ranking in the world. So that's why we try to have this kind of arrangement more aggressively after this, as to have our universities to create more programs that we can benefit to our higher education sectors.
Okay, Dato, I just to add on that, follow up on that. You mentioned about the importance of flexibility for our academic staff and researchers as well as all staff. Part of our plan also in our academic framework is because we want to do away with standard one size fit all type of KPI, meaning that so we are saying that now all staff, you are now very, we like to empower you and to give you flexibility. You have to define yourself. You must have your specific goal of what you want to achieve. So we hope that by doing this, we really would like our staff to shine, meaning that, okay, I am very passionate in leading in this area. Okay, then I think the staff now, can plan accordingly, not just to follow others, whatever, but I think they can plan accordingly and to become successful and excellent. I think this is what we are trying to do. But of course, changing the mindset is not easy, Dato. So that's why I think we are still pushing our staff to redefine themselves, to make sure that you know why you are now at the university, and what is your priority, what you want to achieve, what you want to lead. You want to do something that is different from others. I guess that is what we are trying to promote at our university. And then to talk about this international recognition and cooperation, I think by now Dato knows that IUM is hosting the UNESCO chair in future studies, as well as IUM has been recognized as one of RCE, Regional Center of Expertise for the Education for Sustainable Development. This is also under United Nations. And we are also talking about ISESCO, which is under OIC. I think we are going also to establish another chair on sustainable engineering. So these are the networking that we are doing, Dato. Thank you very much.
That's good.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Professor Faris. Okay, we have, I guess, I think the chat box is more towards the question. Is possible for you to sharing to the list. Okay, it's more on the just to share and just to thank YBhg Dato. So okay, we actually have come to an end for adjournment. And then thank you very much, Prof. Faris, on issues highlighted. That we hope that the colleagues and the participants from the IAM community we can together disseminate the information, the updates from Prof. Faris to our colleagues and to our dear students. Yeah, all right. And then on behalf of the organizing committee, especially the Management Services Division and Professional Management Association (IUM), we'd like to express our utmost gratitude to YBhg Dato, Dr. Haji Megat, and to all participants for sparing your time for this Leadership Talk Series number 4, 2022. Inshallah, we'll meet again soon in the near future. And then most probably we can open up our display in Zoom. So because for a screenshot for a round of thumbs up to YBhg Dato, like this, and then we have a screenshot, okay, where we can open up your display, okay, for 5 seconds. We need cooperation for everybody. Thumbs up, round of thumbs up to YBhg Dato. Right, the admin kindly, yeah, okay. So I'm counting for 10 seconds before I end up the agenda session. All right, admin, okay, for the thumbs up, okay, thank you very much. Alhamdulillah, very full moment, yeah. To hope this kind of experience we can spare in our heart. And then what Prof. mentioned, be flexible, okay, for the quality improvements, to enhance our capability, and to instill leadership in our heart, being a staff of IUM and being the government of the offices and the staff. And with that, inshallah, we'll meet again. We adjourn the session with Tasbih Kifarah and Surah to us. Subhanallah. With that, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much, Dato.
Terima kasih, Prof. Terima kasih.
One day come and visit us, inshallah.
Sure.